All right, continuing our theme here on common hitting flaws amongst amateur hitters, we are still working in our forward move, and today we are talking about a concept we refer to as having dead hands. So having dead hands occurs when a hitter does not create any separation between the top and lower half during the forward move. In order to sequence properly, the hands need to be outside the player's back shoulder at foot strike, so they are the last part of the sequence. Common mistakes occur when hitters either don't move their hands back at all or do it too early in their gather and lose their stretch in their forward move. So those are really the two things we're looking for when we do our video eval are the hands moving back very early in the gather and staying stagnant during the stride phase, or are they just not moving at all? And we see definitely both types of hitters here. The visual on the right is a very good example here of what it means to kind of walk away from the hands. That was a cue that I know taught growing up. You're going to see that top half begin to work slightly back as the lower half and center of mass move forward. This creates kind of that elastic band effect we want to create with our hitters here in terms of stretching in order to create and store energy once we're ready to let that middle fire. So some characteristics of dead hands here. We're going to see the hands start inside the shoulder. A lot of guys who have dead hands will start with them really tight to their body and just not move them back. So we're looking for hitters who start the hands inside the shoulder and tend to not really move them at all. Again, we're looking for hands that go back during the gather and stay really stagnant during the forward move. We don't need the hands to be working back per se aggressively during the forward move, but we need them to make sure that they're not coming forward as the rest of our body moves forward. We need to maintain that separation. Common results we get from players with dead hands. A lot of these guys end up being really late on fastballs. They're not able to generate the bat speed necessary to handle a good velo, especially on the inside part of the plate. We get these guys who generally have a very steep downward path to the ball and a high ground ball rate. Not creating any separation will not allow the middle of the body to start rotation, which again will force the hands to take over, and that creates a steep path for the most part. We get a lot of flares to the backside of the field. Guys with this issue here, the knob tends to go down to the ball aggressively. The barrel will drag behind. What happens is we get a lot of weak contact to the right side and flares that appear to be slicing. Some common compensations we see from our guys is the hands try and move back after foot strike, which is going to be too late. The body knows it needs to create separation in space. A lot of the times it'll try and move them back quickly after foot strike to try and create that separation, and that creates some timing issues. Again, the body will open to try and create space for the hands. Again, if that middle is not stretched, it's not going to rotate. If it doesn't rotate, we're going to use our hands too much. And again, the hitter appears to be rushed. A lot of hitters who have that their hands start inside that back shoulder, they never get back. It really looks like their timing is an issue. They're not creating that good separation and thus the good sequencing to be on time consistently. When we do our video eval, basically what we do is when the player gets the top of his leg lift, we draw a line between his hands and his nose. You can see that top line here. And then when the player lands in his foot strike position, that line should have increased because the hands have moved further back. So you can see that that top line is shorter. This one is much longer. The hitter on the right, who was a classic guy with dead hands, you can see that those lines are pretty much exactly the same and that he has not moved his hands back pretty much at all during his stride phase. This hitter was able to generate a lot of power and extra base hits. This hitter was a really punchy guy who tried to slap the ball around the field. Some corrective drills for dead hands. This is kind of a newer one for us. Call it the flow drill. A lot of hitters are just kind of stagnant and don't want to be moving. So the flow drill will force them to create a little bit of rhythm and timing with the hands and kind of force them to move back late. Front shoulder load is kind of an exaggerated drill. We do a lot of stuff where the hitters have to do a little bit too much moving their hands back here. They have to move them back a lot. And this is kind of an exaggerated drill to help hitters get out of their comfort zone. And then this one's a little less exaggerated where their hands are starting between their eyes. But during the stride phase, they're still forced to load them back. So those are our main drills we use to get guys to cure the dead hands. Knob the knee is another good one where it's forcing players to move backwards with their top half as they move forward with their lower half, which seems to be an issue amongst amateur hitters these days. So those are our drills and our compensations for dead hands. Hopefully we can get them moving and get some rhythm up there. Thanks, everyone.